If you're watching and you're in an evacuation area, get out. Don't take a chance. Time is running out. This is clearly going to either have a direct hit or come right along our coast, and we're going to have hurricane force winds. There are no excuses. You need to leave. Evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. Are you willing to take a chance to risk your life? Are you willing to take a gamble? That's what you're doing. If you're reluctant to evacuate, just think of all the people this storm has already killed. You and your family could be among these numbers if you don't take this seriously. I can tell the story about the lady down in Panacea during Hurricane Irmine. She, I met her the day or two afterwards. She didn't evacuate. She was in an evacuation zone. She stayed because of her pets. I think she had 4 pets. The storm the water got to 1.5 feet. She finally decided to leave. I think eventually got to 3.5 or 4 feet in her house. I mean, when we talk about storm surge, it is going to come up above where you're standing. That's how much. When she finally decided to leave, if there hadn't been a high water vehicle close, she was just lucky. She would have perished. The water comes in very rapidly and goes out very rapidly. Matthew is strengthening near the northwestern Bahamas. It is forecast to be a Category 4 as it approaches Florida. It is located about 250 miles southeast of West Palm Beach with winds of 125 miles per hour. 125 miles per hour. On the forecast track, the eye of Matthew should move very close to the east coast of Florida Peninsula tonight through Friday night. There are hurricane warnings and watches along the entire east coast of our state. Tropical storm watches are in effect for Florida's Gulf Coast. This is serious. Only a small deviation in the forecast track to the left or to the west could bring the core of a major hurricane onshore within the hurricane warning area, while a small deviation to the right or east could keep all the hurricane force winds offshore. Don't take a chance. A small movement could mean a lot. That's why we have to prepare for a direct hit. So again, if you need to evacuate and you haven't, evacuate. This storm will kill you. Time is running out. We don't have that much time left. The impacts of Hurricane Matthew could include heavy rain. Matthew is expected to produce total rainfall amounts of 4 to 8 inches and even up to 12 inches along Florida's east coast. In the Keys, 1 to 3 inches is expected. Strong rip currents, beach erosion, tornadoes, hurricane force winds, storm surge. Forecasts project 5 to 9 feet. Now this is 5 to 9 feet above where you're standing. Stop and think about that. 5 to 9 feet. That doesn't include the waves on top of that. This is 5 to 9 feet of water. It will be over your head. From Sebastian Inlet to the Florida-Georgia line. 3 to 5 feet from Deerfield Beach to Sebastian Inlet. 1 to 3 feet from Upper Keys to Deerfield Beach. This surge by itself can be deadly, but on top of that, we're going to have waves on top of that. These are heights above ground. Waves will be crashing on your roof if you're right close to where the storm surges happen and you're close to where the waves are. Do not surf. Do not go on the beach. This will kill you. These are all projections. It could be much worse. Time is running out. We are preparing for the worst. We're hoping for the best. And no one should take any chances. Based on the continuing strong track to Florida, I'm announcing that I'm activating an additional 1,000 members of the National Guard. That means we've now activated 2,500 members of the National Guard. We wouldn't be doing that if we didn't think this was serious. We have over 4,000 National Guard members ready to be deployed if needed. I've already directed the National Guard to help with evacuations and with sheltering. Last night, I suspended all tolls in the affected areas of the state. This includes the entire Florida Turnpike, Alligator Alley, Central Florida Expressway Authority, and the Miami-Dade Expressway Authority. Again, there is no reason not to leave. And think about it. The traffic is going to pick up. It already picked up some yesterday. I was looking at the traffic counts this morning. from yesterday. It picked up. It's going to pick up again today. If you wait, all you're going to do is get stuck in traffic. There's a greater chance you'll have problems with fuel. Around 1.5 million people are under evacuation orders. 1.5 million Floridians. Right now, we're really concerned about Palm Beach. This is the first big area that will be hit, and conditions will arrive within hours. We don't have much time left. If you aren't going to evacuate, these numbers should scare you. If you're on the East Coast from Palm Beach northward, you will likely see winds between 100 and 150 miles per hour. Think about that. 100 to 150 miles per hour. These catastrophic levels can completely wipe out well-built homes and destroy neighborhoods. If you're on the East Coast, you will lose power. You are going to lose power. Do not believe you're not going to lose power. You are going to lose power. Millions will lose power, possibly for a long period of time. Utility companies are going to do all they can to turn it on, but you are going to lose your power if you're on the East Coast. Go inland to a friend's house, go to a shelter, and find an accommodation. Partners like Airbnb are making rooms available for free. Visit Florida and Expedia also have listings of open hotels. If you live on the West Coast, call your friends in the impacted area and offer them a place to stay. Again, no excuses, get out. As of last night, there were 58 shelters open across the state. Today, 84 more shelters will open. We have doubled the number of available shelters. I know no one wants to sit in a shelter, but you need to go there now and get through the storm. Save your life. It might not be the best accommodations, but you don't want to go through 100 to 150 mile-an-hour winds, storm surge, rip currents, and all these things. This is about saving your life. Individual gas stations are seeing temporary outages. They are being quickly refueled, and fuel is readily available at this point in the state. The current fuel supply in the state will last for 6 days, even if all ports close. Remember to take the fuel you need, but don't take more. Many people in your community need fuel to get to safety. We'll start seeing lines at our gas stations. We've already seen some. Hospitals. They're being evacuated along the coast. I had to do this back in Andrew. I had to evacuate 2 hospitals. And put things in perspective, I evacuated 2 hospitals, and then the hurricane Andrew moved south and tore up a hospital that I had moved patients to. So we don't know exactly where the storm's going. Don't trust this track. Don't take a chance. There are no reported issues at this point of the hospitals being evacuated. Last night, I requested President Obama to declare an emergency declaration in 26 counties. I've also requested direct federal assistance to meet pre-landfall critical emergency needs of our communities. This includes resources from the federal government, including food, water, and TARP. And we'll need more. There'll be more things we need. I hope the President proves it this morning before this storm begins. I hope the President does it this morning before the storm begins. Text FL Prepares, one word, text FL Prepares, FLPREPARES to 888-777 for updates from the State Emergency Response Team. FL Prepares to 888-777 for updates from the State Emergency Response Team. And remember, FL Prepares is one word. This information can save your life. If you think of someone that's making a bad decision, call them. Don't let them make a bad decision. Don't let people try to survive where there's an evacuation area. You have enough fuel, but there's going to be fuel issues at times. Do it now. Don't wait. This could save your life, and it could save your friend's life and your family member's life. To the press, you have done a great job alerting people and keeping people informed. I want to thank you for doing that. Anything more you can do to get people to know the severity of this, please do so. Unfortunately, this is going to kill people. I will get my next briefing from the National Hurricane Center at 11:15. We'll be heading to Stewart now to meet with emergency management officials there. I met around the state yesterday with emergency management officials. My goal is to make sure everyone's prepared. We know what we have to do, the water, the food, the battery-powered radio, get your medicine, evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. Be prepared. Don't take a chance. But I'll be in Stewart, and then I'll decide as I go through the day where else I'll be. I'll be here tonight to go through the storm, here at the State Emergency Management Center, Operations Center. So I can answer any questions anybody has.
Question for Secretary Fossil. Talk to us about one-way highways on evacuation routes, whether that's happened yet, where they're likely to be, if it's likely to happen, if it hasn't happened.
So at this point, given the forecast of the storm contraflows on scenario for evacuations, the department's working very closely with the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and Florida Highway Patrol to keep traffic moving, and we're confident right now that where we are that we'll be able to manage the situation.
Without doing so.
No, this is not an appropriate scenario for contraflow.
And by the way, they're monitoring. Jimmy might explain what you're doing, but they're monitoring all the evacuation routes. They've got cameras up. We have plenty of people telling us what's going on, but they're monitoring all this. And at this point, we don't have any issues.
No, the governor is correct. At this point, we use traffic sensors to monitor the number of vehicles that are going through, and traffic cameras. And again, we're working with FHP. We have additional Road Ranger Service Patrol, as well as wreckers to clear incidents. Our focus is on keeping traffic moving. And the vehicle count information that we have also has an average speed, so we're comparing that to an average day to make sure that we're clearing any bottlenecks and keeping the system in free flow.
Do you have a sense of how many people are actually following the governor's advice and evacuating?
We are seeing where the governor and local emergency management officials have encouraged and ordered evacuations. We are seeing traffic flow that is consistent with that.
And is that quantifiable? Or?
I'm sure we can get you something.
I mean, they can tell you traffic counts. So they have counters, and they can see if you look at their. I was over there this morning, and if you look at, you can see the hours where there's a significant spike. And then Highway Safety has individuals ready to go around the state to help move traffic, and then as part of what the National Guard's also going to be doing. So we're watching every road, every evacuation area, and making sure we've gotten rid of the tolls. There is no reason not to get out.
Governor, how much confidence do you have in the Herbert who died around Lake Okeechobee?
I just talked to Colonel Kirk just a few minutes ago. They're at 15. They're a little above where they were yesterday. I think he's at their 15.9. They believe, based on the rainfall expectations now, okay, that they're going to be fine. The concern they have is if you look at now, there's a loop, and the loop comes to the southern part of the state. So that their real concern now is the second pass. General Turner, who runs the southeast for the Corps, is coming down here. He'll arrive here at 3:30 this afternoon. I spoke to him yesterday. But at this point, they're comfortable that with the expectation of rain that we have now, that the dike will be fine. The new wrinkle, of course, is the path, the projected path coming back around. So they're working with Colonel Kirk said he's already talked to Pete Antonacci with the South Water Management District, and they're going to do everything they can to keep the lake level as low as they can to get ready. It's not for the first one. Really, the issue is the second one.
Hey, Governor, what would you say? I know that hotels in Collier, Leon, Lee, the areas that aren't going to be impacted that bad by the storm, these hotels are filling up pretty fast. What would you say to folks who are planning on getting a hotel today?
Well, you can go on Airbnb, so they're working with us. Go on Expedia, go and visit Florida. We're making sure that everywhere in the state we're telling people where to go. We are also planning probably to put up some signage on the highway if we know that there's once we know there's nothing left in Collier. Okay, we'll make sure people don't waste their time on getting off 75 at 101, where I live, and they'll go further north. So we're trying to keep everybody informed. That's why I've asked, if you're on the West Coast and you don't believe it's going to be impacted, and people on the East Coast, call them up, offer them a room. We've got to get people evacuated. We can't have anybody sit and say, oh, I don't know what place to go. We got the shelters. We're opening 84 more shelters today. The National Guard is going to be part of helping make sure we have all these shelters open. I've spoken with the Red Cross, spoken with Salvation Army yesterday. The Red Cross is, I think they're staffing 97 shelters. Salvation Army is already getting ready to provide meals. But everybody's got to understand, this is 150 mile an hour winds. I mean, we got storm surge. We are going to have a catastrophic storm, whether it is a direct impact or whether it just goes along the coast, we are going to have damage. We are going to be without power. You better charge up your cell phone. You're going to be without power. It's going to take days to get the power back on. We have not had a storm like this on the East Coast for a long time. That means we're going to have a lot of trees down, and it's going to take a while to get them back up. I've been talking to the utility companies. I know FP&L has 12,000 workers. They've already brought into the state. I've already had one call with the utility companies. I'll do another one today to just make sure they're pre-positioning assets. No different what the National Guard's doing. What we've already pre-positioned food, water, and other necessities around the state. So we're going to get ready, but this is going to be catastrophic.
If you could amplify that with the National Guard, because of the situation, the way it's coming, are you having to create multiple staging, multiple logistic places?
We have three, Gary. We've got north, central, and south, and we've got high water vehicles. Fish and Wildlife has done the same thing with their high water vehicles. So we're pre-positioning people and assets around the state. With Fish and Wildlife and National Guard, the first thing they're going to do is rescue efforts after the fact. Now they're already doing some things with regard to evacuation, with regard to National Guard is with regard to sheltering, because you just like all these things you're saying. Where are the weaknesses? Okay, I want to make sure everybody understands. Shelters are open. They're going to be staffed. So get out of your homes if you're in an evacuation area. Don't take a chance. Do not take a chance. Do not take a chance. Do not take a chance.
Governor, what are you hearing about the situation with gas stations around Southeast Florida? Many
So, John, what I'm hearing is that there's an individual station will be out of gas, but we have plenty of gas in that area. And they're refueling as quickly as they can. It's just that we're going to see a lot of people. Here's what everybody does: when something like this comes up, everybody fills up. And the truth is, what you need to do is take what you think you're going to need. Don't fill up, because there's going to be lines around the state. Today's going to be the tough day. We're going to see lines around the state. We're going to run out of gas at certain stations. We don't have a shortage of fuel. We're going to have a shortage of how fast we get it to stations when they sell out of their fuel. That's what's going to be our weakness. We've got plenty of fuel. We have plenty of fuel in the state.
Governor, so you talked a little bit about, obviously it was a concern of yours after municipal utilities and their preparedness and ability to recover. Based on your conversations, how confident are you that municipal utilities, utility authorities are as prepared as they can be, and as prepared as they can be afterwards to handle getting the power back on?
Look, I believe, my experience is I believe people want to do the right thing. I believe that people want to be prepared. I think people often are surprised. And I think that what's important to me is that we share resources. It shouldn't matter whether you're municipal or co-op or in one of the 4 big companies. Let's share resources. Whoever needs resources, let's share the resources. This is about every person in our state being taken care of. Every person needs their power back as fast as they can. It changes your life without power. And we lose lives without power. I went through, having to... one of the hospitals we had back in Andrew, we had to hand vet patients for hours because we didn't have power. Fortunately, we didn't lose any, but it's pretty scary. So I'm hoping everybody's going to work well together. We're planning on having another call today, so I'm going to do everything I can.
And are enough people evacuating? Do you need to step in and have more mandatory evacuations? Is there anything the state can do to get people out and into safety? More than
today's the day, right? It's game time. So we'll see today. If you ask me why I'm surprised, we went over and I saw the cameras on the roads. I'm surprised they weren't busier. I went over there about 7:04, this morning. I thought they would be busier than they were, but we did see a big spike yesterday, and we're already hearing what Eric heard that places like Naples, the hotels are filling up and things like that. So a lot of people did it yesterday. We don't have an exact number, but it's 1.5 million that are under evacuation orders.
But it's your understanding that right now there aren't traffic jams, there aren't people stuck on the roads.
Yeah, right
That's
now.
not the
But the problem you'll have is that there'll be an accident. Okay, so that and all of us have been around. There's not that many roads. If you want to get to the West Coast and you're down where I live, you're going Alligator Alley. I mean, the 41 is only if you're way down in Miami, and that's only a two-lane road. So you're going Alligator Alley, and that's it. That's it. So if there's an accident, it's gonna back up. Now, highway safety is going to do what they can with DOT to clear accidents as quickly as they can. But I mean, you have to play the odds. With that many people on the road, people are going to make a mistake, and there's going to be accidents. So leave early. Do not take a chance. I mean, this thing's coming. I mean, we're not that many hours away.
Governor, what would you say that people in Florida, they say they know storms, and the storm's going to be, Florida's going to be on the left side of the storm, so we're not going to get hit as bad as they say it is, and it's going to be out to sea. What would you say to those people that are trying to eyeball this on their own with, social media and all sorts of websites?
I was in Jacksonville yesterday, and they were just showing because one thing people haven't talked about, talk about the storm surge. That's bad enough. I mean, 5 to 10 feet. I mean, think about that. That's above. That's taller than us, right? But on top of that, the waves. They're talking about 25-foot waves, right? I mean, just stop and think about this. You can't survive this stuff. And if you think, oh, I'll just go up higher in this building, you're getting 150-mile-an-hour winds. There's going to be our coastal communities are going to try to do everything they can to clean the beaches. There's debris going to be flying everywhere. Signs are going to be down. I remember after Andrew in '92, I got down there a few hours afterwards because of all the hospitals I had down there. There were no signs. They're all down. If you didn't know the city, you couldn't. If you didn't know the city, there's no way to get around. That's what's going to happen. We're going to see signs down, trees are down, power lines are going to be down. It's going to be dangerous to get outside. Power lines are going to be down all over this state.
Anyone else? All right, thanks.
Thanks.